fears behind. We are locked in an orbit racing round the docks of newly worlds that make alive. Keep your eyes on mine. Touchdown on the surface of my heart. The feeling's ever gone. A brave adventurer like me. Members everywhere that I've come from. Keep your feet to the vacuum sky, 'cause it's surrounding us out here. Follow the trail of the stardust of the ones that came before us, and we'll see what we've always been. Dream of me whenever you are feeling oh so lonely. Try to leave your fears behind. We are locked in an orbit racing round the docks of newly worlds that make alive. Keep your eyes on mine. I told you that one day ain't never enough. You tell me I hate you, I still call you up. If we don't got trust, we can never have love. I was putting in the hours, I was. But you were calling me a liar, 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 liar. Yeah, I've been putting in the hours, I was. And it's coming down to now and now and now and now and never. I was putting in the
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our NA show match of the night here over at Learning Fives. I'm Lol Meowing Cat, joined here with Bill Karama. How you doing, fellow caster?
I'm not bad. I wish my team had a better showing in the show match last night. But what can you do? Let's see what these guys can do.
Yeah, unlike you, they're looking to win a game. And so let's see how these teams come out full force swinging at each other.
That's harsh, dude. We've got the Lulu band coming out right away. It looks like they are taking the name Band Lulu to heart and immediately taking out the Lulu. Nobody wants to deal with Akali, so we see her out of the picture as well.
Yeah, Akali kind of really meta pick at the moment. A little bit overtuned on her new release with that rework. And I mean, as we saw Bjergsen pulling out, it can be a little bit scary if in the hands of an experienced player.
Yeah, you can do disgusting things with that champion whenever you get to a late game team fight. Sorry, I just had to throw my cat out of my monitor. He's in the way. Twitch and Jax, a bit split push threat and a late game team fight threat taken off the board, as well as Kaisa removed. Let's see what we get for these top laners here.
Yeah, and so we will see these top laners picking in order as the teams do a pro draft beforehand. That way, if you don't own a champion, it's not going to penalize you. Everybody's on equal grounds here. So it's not going to be a first pick Sion. It was actually last pick in the pro draft, but we do see it come out here. So Sion, a lot of popularity resurging in that top lane with the recent buffs that he got, a little bit extra HP. And, you know, he got some buffs slowly after a while of his E getting nerfed. So while he doesn't have as much poke in that laning phase, definitely has some brawling power.
Huh. So apparently the pro draft was inaccurate, as this apparently is a Vayne top. This is not a joke. That is a Vayne top being picked into a Sion.
Maybe they just aren't in LCS order, and the ADC pick wasn't accurate to the pro draft. We don't have confirmation on that. We will figure it out soon enough, though. I mean, cross your fingers. Maybe we'll see the Vayne top. I mean, into a Sion, it's not bad whatsoever either. Because of how much health stacking he's going to have, those silver bolts from that Vayne are going to do massive damage to him.
Right, and you also have the Aurelion Soul that's able to roam top lane and try to secure kills onto the Sion if he ever pushes past the river. Interesting pick, the Amumu. We haven't been seeing a whole lot of Amumus picked ever. It's been seasons and seasons since Amumu has seen meta play, so I'm always excited whenever we see the poor sad mummy. His passive synergizes really well with Aurelion Soul. It's just downside is his initiation is pretty obvious and can be played around.
Yeah. Lucky for him, though, there are a lot of slow-moving targets. I mean, Ziggs, he does have his W to escape, but it does require a little bit of time for him to activate. And so this allows Amumu to get a good Q off, or maybe just flash R. And so that can always come out. And if he can just frontline, lock down some targets for this Vayne, she can just pop off. And it's just all about how this Vayne is going to make it through the laning phase, because as we saw in EU, lane Vayne is actually a thing. It is doable at the top levels, although that was in the mid lane compared to the top lane. But if it works in mid, probably just shove it up in the top lane.
Yeah, it never hurts if you can prove that you actually have two amazing AD carries on your team. The Cap's proving he is the better ADC on his team in that game. So we'll see how the Vayne holds up in the top lane, as it does look like it's finally confirmed, as we have the Draven picked up here, facing off against a Varus in the bot lane. Varus does have lane advantage over the Draven, and with Nami, he will have a nice sustained advantage. Karma offering some shields and poke in exchange and some speed up for the Draven to close the gap. I'd still sort of favor the Varus Nami lane. I don't know about you.
Yeah, so Karma poke will be kind of nullified by the Nami sustain. And so while their poke isn't that great, the Karma speed up on the Draven, giving him a lot of movement speed with his his W as well as the Karma E, they're going to be able to get that Draven in really fast. Karma does have decent burst damage, and she did get a small little Q buff not too long ago, so it's going to be a little easier to get that off. So, like, there is a lot of poke and sustain on the side of Sinzari's rejects, but Ban Lulu's bot lane has some kill pressure, and so if they can enable that Draven, possibly with an Amumu gank, he provides a lot of CC if he can land that bandage toss. Almost said bondage toss. Jesus. Getting a little spicy down in this Learning 5's rift. But
I think a lot of it will come down to whether Aurelion Sol can help pressure this bottom lane. If he manages to shove the wave out before Ziggs gets his ridiculous wave clear advantage into that mid lane, he can just pressure really hard. Varus and Nami are going to have to play it safe and not push the lane. And of course, Draven has his issues where if he wants to juggle his axes, he is going to have to be throwing them out pretty frequently. So he does almost auto shove the lane in almost every lane he's in. But
yeah, it will be interesting to see how this lane plays out. And as you mentioned, the Aurelion Sol roaming down, Nami Varus, no mobility whatsoever, really. So if they do get a lot of attention in spot lane, you definitely could see a snowball coming out from this Draven Karma.
Yeah, the only issue is, of course, Sion does have the teleport to respond to a gank and make plays.
So does the Vayne. You never know about those Vayne TP ganks.
We saw it a long time ago where you had the flank from a Maokai versus a Lucian flanking Huni. God bless.
I mean, Vayne, hey, if she goes with the flank, condemns them towards the Draven, that could be a very good combo there.
We'll see how this lane goes. I don't hate Vayne. I don't hate the champion. I don't think it's that bad into Sion, who's a still health stacker. You do have the tumble to get out of almost any initiation, but it'll come down to whether Shiro on the Sejuani gives the Vayne special attention, because if you get locked down, Vayne can't 2v1 that easily. Yes, she has her tumble and she has her condemn, but if you get onto her, she is pretty dead pre-6.
Yeah. We'll have to see on that. Something we haven't mentioned too much is this mid lane Ziggs pick. And with that, they have a very big front line with the double tank. They have sustain with the Nami, and now they have 2 poke champions. So their siege comp actually looks pretty decent with this. They just have various Ziggs poking away, and then they have just meat shields standing in front of these, immobile squishies. And so they definitely could poke in this generally low range team, Draven being a lower range ADC, Vayne lower range ADC. Aurelion Sol does have range, but it's kind of very noticeable. And so they have a lot of siege that is able to abuse these low range champions.
Yeah, Aurelion Sol has to put himself at a bit of a precarious position in order to do his damage with his W orbit extended. But at the same time, I feel kind of bad for the Amumu here. He is the large initiator for this team comp, and I fear for him that he is just going to initiate and get insta-blown up by the damage on offer by the Ziggs and Varus, and the Nami disengage is there to buy enough time for this team to do the damage it needs, and without the front line, it'll be very difficult.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to see as we're going to load onto the Rift. Don't go anywhere, as we will be right back with Sinzari Rejects versus Ban Lulu.
Scared to breathe me, runs the memory away. Can't you see me? Like that mysterious pain. Can't you hear me? Like that mysterious pain.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our first match in North America for tonight. I'm Meowing Cat, still joined by Belkarama, as we are into our first game of Sinzari's Rejects versus Ban Lulu.
Yeah, and let's introduce the teams. On the red side, we've got Blackie Chan 369, Vayne top lane, Infinity Storm playing Amumu in the jungle, Born a Winner, Aurelion Soul in the mid lane, a Forever Jaded Draven AD carry in the bot lane, the Foodie Monster joining him as a Karma support. Oh, I want
Yes, and on the blue side, we have Sinzari's Reject with Synergetic in the top lane, Shiro in the jungle, Maj48 in the mid lane, Blast Quasar on AD carry, and Forever Lone Wolf on support.
So, a pretty standard start here. It looks like both teams are off point. Nobody really wanting to press their luck and try to get early information or poke. I guess I'm not entirely surprised here. Nobody really wants to take a free poke here, especially the Ziggs. He's got some decent damage on those early bounces and decent range.
Yeah, everything looking pretty standard. In the rune choices, Amumu did opt into going for the the Aftershock instead of Predator. So both of them are fairly common for Amumu jungles. The Predator is a little more spicy and also does provide a little better engage, but that Aftershock in that early game and late game will make him considerably tankier in those engages. So looking to just not die, playing it a little bit safe.
Yeah, we had mentioned previously that if he was the sole initiation, he might take a lot of trying to get it in. So the Aftershock should keep him alive a little longer.
Yeah, something I do want to mention that I'm a little bit sad over is Blast Quasar going for the Doran shield. I feel like with the Nami sustain and into a Draven who's a little bit shorter range ADC, you would want to go for something more aggressive, either something that provides damage, or go for the refillable potion just to constantly trade with him, as we've been seeing a lot of Varys do.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just see Draven as the penultimate damage dealer in the bottom lane, and they're kind of afraid to try to interact with him, or they tend to overrate his damage. Yes, he does do a crap ton of damage, but he takes a while to do it. He needs to sit there and throw axes at you. If you get poke off and chip him down, and you have the sustain advantage, he's not that threatening.
Yeah, and I mean, this Varys does have the lethal tempo, so he's looking to go for more damage and on hit rather than the range poke build, which is a little scary against this Draven, but he still can do some decent poke in lane even without that Arcane Comet. And once he does land an E or a Q, he can walk up a little bit and he can even take some decent trades into the Draven.
Yeah, we've got a situation topside here.
Yeah, Blackie Chan making it out with her life. And something we should mention is this Vayne top lane actually opting into the Grasp of the Undying, so looking to get a lot of hits in on the Scion with that Grasp procs.
Yeah, they changed it a while back, so you get less health gained, but it still adds up over time. Since
it actually got buffed, I believe, for range champions. So it was they used to get 2 health per Grasp proc. I believe they get 3 now, compared to the 5 that a melee champion would get. So it's not horrible, but the damage and healing is also reduced by that same amount of 40%, I believe. So it's not super efficient on these range champions. And it might not help her too much here, condemning Shiro away, not going to get hit by that knockup of the Sejuani.
Yeah, really good job.
Yeah.
And last gank, both the Scion and the Sejuani used their flashes to try to get in on her. Wasn't able to convert it into a kill. And now as we mentioned, lots of risk for when you're playing a Vayne top. If you get a lot of 2v1s and you take a lot of pressure, you can die. But so far, playing it well, staying alive.
Yeah, I'm a little sad the Vayne didn't opt into lethal tempo or press the attack or some rune like that. Because especially with the Vayne changes to her W, where it deals even more percent max health damage, if she's running Gwynsu's Blade of the Ruin King and then has one of those, precision runes to synergize with it, she's just going to be destroying this front line of the Vayne and the Sejuani. So, I'm not too happy with the grass proc, but it is helping her lane a little bit, giving her a little bit of sustain, which she definitely does need against this Comet Scion.
Yes, Comet Scion is pretty annoying to deal with. Lots of free damage coming in. Already gone through all of her potions, and maybe should look to recall here just to stay alive and try to continue the pressure that she has.
Yeah. Other than that, mid lane been extremely quiet. No ganks really coming out there. And both mid laners kind of just relaxing a little bit, which is a bit disappointing to see from Born a Winner, as he's on this Aurelion who has so much roam potential.
Well, at least he's exerting his will by being 15 CS up.
Yeah, definitely getting a lead for himself, although not really helping his team out too much. Although might not have too much of a chance to do so, as his bot lane is just permanently shoving in. As you mentioned, this Draven is looking to just keep his axes up, slapping minions constantly. So putting himself in a bit of a risky position. Have to keep an eye out as Sejuani's getting close by.
Nami's looking here, but nothing doing. So it looks like they'll be safe for the moment being. Aurelion Sol completing his recall and buying boots. Hopefully he'll be able to put more pressure on the map with those boots picked up.
Now look at this mid lane here. Maj might be getting collapsed on by Infinity Storm. Amumu going for a very far gank, but underneath the tower of Maj will not get anything successful. So just gonna jump himself out. Zig's not really scared of that one.
No, Infinity Storm probably taking more damage from toss and E did to our little Ziggs.
Yeah. Now Sejuani looking in the mid lane, not really gonna find anything either. And so far, these junglers haven't been getting very successful ganks out. Both of them very predictable tank junglers without too much damage in these laners early on. You kind of understand why. There's no real kill pressure from any of these lanes except the bot lane, which, you can see something from Shiro possibly, but just hasn't found the perfect opportunity to do so.
Yeah, with the Nami having very little mana, it's pretty difficult to get a good setup for the Sejuani, because you need to put yourself at risk when you want to walk up to this Draven. And right now she's half health, low mana. So if she tries to walk up to set up a Sejuani gank, she might be trading her life for it. And I'm not sure when the Draven has a whole bunch of stacks, it's a worthwhile endeavor.
Yeah. I do think that we should keep an eye out for the level 6 though, because Blastquazar and Forever Lone Wolf at level 6 will have a lot of CC setup for the Sejuani, and even Sejuani level 6. I mean, if you think about it, you have the Chain of Corruptions into the Glacial Prison, into the Tidal Wave. You can just lock someone down for 5 seconds plus and just keep them there forever, unless they have Mikhail's or QSS. And oh, nice bubble lands onto Foodie Monster. Ignite comes out, but Heal Being is used by Forever Jaded, now looking to turn some damage around, but has to back up, as that Lethal Tempo Varus doing a lot of damage to this Draven.
Yeah, Forever Jaded choosing
to...
Snipe
coming out, not going to connect.
Trying to trade back damage, but the unfortunate fact is the Foodie Monster had already pulled back, so instead he was just opting into a 1v2 in that situation, and now he has to recall because he can't stay in this lane.
Yeah, and that might net a little CS lead for Blastquazar and reset the lane for Forever Lone Wolf, who was not really wanting to stay here for much longer as a Nami without anything.
Yeah, that's a pretty
good
situation.
They do need to shove this next wave, though. They do. So I actually really like the wave management from the side of Sinzari's rejects. They knew that they needed to shove the next wave out, not just back right there, let the lane freeze. So this is actually really good. They're using proper wave manipulation, and they're now shoving it in. It's going to bounce back towards them. The Draven has to just push it in. He can't even just freeze it for a while. But now Scion using the ultimate in the top lane. Sejuani is get the stun off. Hasn't used her ultimate yet. Are we going to see it come out? And she will use it to whack the kill over to herself. Glacial Prison securing the kill onto Blackie-Chan for Shiro.
Yeah, good patience by the Sejuani to hold the ultimate until after Tumble Stealth. Make sure that she's guaranteed to get that hit in, since Blackie-Chan had used Flash earlier.
Yeah. Now with that, Sejuani was spotted up in the top lane, so Infinity Storm going for a Dragon in response on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah,
Good
Amumu
reaction
was in
from them.
position. Amumu was already in position to start this play. Draven now has his BF sword, so this is a pretty easy dragon take for them, completely uncontested. So it's a good response.
Yeah. So Mountain Drake is secured for them, and that is always nice to have, especially with this, very heavy damage team that you have. With the Vayne, Aurelion Sol, and Draven, you can melt down objectives, neutrals especially, dragons and barons. With this team comp, just annihilated, basically.
At the same time, I think it's pretty important just to take it away from the Ziggs and Varus. Like you mentioned during Champs Select, they do have a bit of a siege comp available to them with the double tank line and the Ziggs and Varus having the range advantage. So if they had that, it would be very dangerous.
Yeah. So far, lane's getting to a little bit of a calm state. As you mentioned before, Aurelion Sol does have a little CS lead, although it isn't too large compared to before, with the CS 80 to 70 roughly. Other than that, every lane looking pretty even. Sion does have a little bit of assist gold up on Vayne, but the Vayne also going for a bit of an awkward build. Looks like a frozen mallet, possibly?
Yeah, it's starting to look like that's what it should be going for, which, I mean, against other tanks that might not have the ultimate like Sion does, it's a pretty good idea just to prevent the Sion from getting in range to do anything, but Sion doesn't care about that as much. He's just going to use his Comet to land a slow and follow it up.
Oh, Born a Winner looking for some heavy damage. Still has the ultimate. Voice of Light is going to come out and will secure the kill onto Madge 48. Burning the Flash too, not living. Bit greedy there by Madge.
Yeah, I think he was just a bit too late on that flash. Unfortunate for him. He didn't
now Shiro looking bot lane, has a Glacial Prison available. All of the CC coming out. Now we see the tidal wave from the Nami. Does not connect onto the Draven, but does hit Foodie Monster, and that will secure the kill onto that Karma. And the double kill will come out for Blasquezar, getting the kill onto Forever Jaded as well. Now Infinity Storm coming in, trying to get something for himself, but just gets poked out a little bit and will have to retreat to his tower.
Really good CC chain there. Draven not respecting the chain of corruption spread after the Karma died there and gets caught up and dies as well. A huge loss of stacks there, which might unfortunately prevent Draven from ever having a huge impact on this game. We'll see. Kind of early to tell, but Draven usually has a really hard time recovering when he loses those stacks.
Yeah, and that is pretty big for this bot lane. Varus getting that double kill means that he's going to be able to pick up a fully completed Blade of the Ruined King, which will give him a very large amount of sustain. So Nami will have less mana problems to worry about, and they can just kind of take these trades where Draven might still do some more upfront damage, but the sustain from this bot lane of Sinzari's rejects just completely nullifies any of that extra damage that Ban Lulu's bot lane has.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of this issue stems from Born a Winner has been stuck into this mid lane for the longest time and has not been able to pressure on the map because he has to respond to Ziggs' his wave clear potential. Yes, he got the solo kill. Yes, that's really nice. And he's up on CS, but his bot lane has not been able to get the help that they probably wanted to have in this matchup.
Yeah, they've also been shoving in permanently, and they've, been against the bot lane of Sinzari's rejects who have been managing their way very smartly. So everything just not aligning for the bot lane of Ban Lulu means that they're in a very tough situation right now where they just have to figure out what they're going to do to get themselves into this game.
Yeah, and with a unconventional top laner in the Vayne, I kind of wonder how these team fights are going to be going now that they are starting to fall behind.
Oh, the Condemned goes onto the Sion while he uses an Unstoppable Onslaught, though, and he will not go away. Going for the kill. Synergetic gets the solo kill onto Blocky Chan, and in the bot lane, Forever Lone Wolf gets a kill onto Foodie Monster, who just steps too far forward. Now, Born a Winner up in the top side with Infinity Storm here, but on the backside, Madge is also following up. Now it's 2v3. Born a Winner has to try to get out, and will flash away from his own tower. Will he be able to even get a kill onto Synergetic here? It's getting close, but does not look like it, and Born a Winner does drop to Shiro. Now Infinity Storm does get stunned up. Madge looking to get a kill for himself, and Curse of the Side Mummy does come out. Hugh misses from Madge. Shiro now gonna have to chase down that kill to try to get it, and it will be secured by Shiro.
Oh, Infinity Storm holding on to that ultimate for the longest, not using it to peel for the Aurelion Sol. I think he was hoping to get a perfect ultimate off, and unfortunately ends up not getting anything out of it. The roam being completely
punished. Blocky Chan going for the flash Condemned, but his Synergetic seems still here. Doesn't get the kill with the Soul Furnace blocking the damage from the Vayne. She will get stunned up and pushed away. And the heal is going to save Shiro too. Nothing gotten from the Vayne there, who used all her summoners. Does get the heal from match, however, so there's a small little thing that she did get in return, but that felt
That's
really bad to watch.
Yeah, that's a lot expended and a whole lot of nothing gained. And when you're far behind, you need to make your decisions count to try to crawl back into this game. Unfortunately, nothing happening. Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, and Synergetic has been really bullying Blackie Chan this whole laning phase, and it's a bit interesting that Blackie Chan is opting into this tank Vayne build instead of a more attack speed focused build, especially with the W buff that she got recently. On top of, Guinsoo's and Blade of the Ruin King both being very strong items in this current meta against double tank topside.
I think it's just going to delay this Vayne from really being a useful threat.
But why would you want to delay Vayne, who already has such a late power spike?
Yeah, no, it's a questionable decision. Maybe a thought of just needing to survive the laning phase, she needs more health, but that's not why you'd pick Vayne. You pick Vayne to be able to shred tanks.
If you want to survive lane, pick Maokai or Ornn.
Pick a tank. Well, or go with what was actually picked inside the pro draft, which was a Dr.
Mundo. Yeah, the Vayne pick very questionable. Hopefully, we'll see it scale up. Although, just because it does work later doesn't mean it was necessarily done right in the first place. I do think that even if she does pop off later, which is extremely possible, and hopefully we do see that, the early game was not played properly by Blackie Chan.
Well, Blackie Chan
Unstoppable Onslaught comes out from the Scion in the mid lane, very small range, but does get onto Born a Winner. Ziggs uses the ultimate, but looks like he's going to be able to make it out. But a giant CC lockdown, and there it is, onto Forever Jaded. Feels jaded after that play, as Blasquez are picking up another kill in the spot lane.
Oh boy.
Shiro now looking for a dive actually onto the Foodie Monster. Gonna get CC'd down, and again, Shiro picking up another kill. 403 on the Sejuani, coming up huge. Now Blackie Chan getting some decent damage up on the top side, though.
Yeah, towers are of no real defense against Sejuani with 4 kills and level 10 already. Towers they exist. They do a decent job of killing minions, but they're not going to protect you, and I think...
Oh, Curse of the Side Mummy does come out. Shiro gonna be able to die to the Draven Axe coming out, but Blasquezar does pick up a kill for himself onto Infinity Storm.
Yeah, the ultimate combination there, getting a kill over Draven, but he has already lost almost all stacks after 2 deaths. So, not a big spike for him, and now he's coming back to lane. At least he'll have some alone time with this wave. But he's in a really dangerous spot now.
Oh, recalls canceled there, actually. Now, due to those recalls being canceled, they actually weren't able to go back and spend their gold. If they don't go back here, and they stay in this lane, they will go back. So, because of that, they're just going to be a little bit late to the lane, and Jada can just shove this in. But nice by him to cancel their backside. If they did stay, that would have been really good for this bot lane. It actually would have meant they're basically gold even. Oh, Unstoppable Onslaught as an escape tool there from Synergetic.
And the ultimate popped by Vayne. Aggressive play again by the Vayne, but not really a kill threat, since Scion can always just dip out and ignore Vayne's condemn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'd like to see... I'd really like to see this Rift Herald picked up by Shiro to try to break these towers and to start advancing.
Oh, Infinity Storm here, looking for a gank. The Bandit Toss does not connect. Very sad. Just a little bit closer, and that would have probably been a dead Scion.
Maybe.
He doesn't have his ultimate or his flash. With the Vayne damage following up, probably would have been enough.
Well, Scion's still a tanky boy. He's got like 1500 health.
True, but it's also a frozen mallet Vayne. Think of all that extra CC.
I'd rather not think about that.
Oh, the Ziggs Mega Inferno Bomb coming into the bot lane and does pick up an assist onto the kill of the Foodie Monster.
I'm just glad to see one of these towers finally get taken down. It was a bit overdue. They've had this wave in good positions for a while.
Are we going to see a dive up here in the top lane? There is a Drake picked up. Ocean Drake going over to the side of Sinzari's rejects. And that's going to be really nice for this, potential siege composition. Maybe a Herald trade, though, as Infinity Storm is starting it up.
Yeah, if I'm Shiro, I'm making my way over.
Oh,
to
but
Rift Herald
yeah,
right
Shiro
now.
is making his way here. Unstoppable Onslaught does come out into a wall. Synergetic, what are you doing? Not the Drift King we wanted. Shiro now getting CC'd pretty hard. Curse of the Side Mummy does come out. Vayne Condemned does not connect onto the wall. Shiro now chasing down some kills. Born a winner, running away with barely any HP. Now Madge is being chased down by an Amumu. It's a very weird fight, very scattered. Tanks all over the place. But look at this Rift Herald, almost dead. Shiro's going for it. He wants it, but it's going to be 50-50, and it actually does go over to Infinity Storm, I think? It hasn't popped up, and it was actually picked up by this Amumu. Huge steal there, and Shiro's going to be so upset about that one. He does actually die, too, to Born a Winner. Now, wait, Jaded, what?
What? I think
Jaded got a little bit hyphy off of all of that.
I think either that or he was channeling his inner Tyler one. That was ambitious. That was ambitious
to say the least.
Tyler one.
But yeah, that fight went pretty decently for the side of Ban Lulu, considering how far behind they are. 2 for 2 overall, but getting the Rift Herald onto Infinity Storm is pretty huge.
Yeah, a lot of the damage and abilities that their team possesses comes down to AoE, and they managed to spread out the fight and make it as chaotic as humanly possible. Blackie Chan on this vein, of course, does incredible single target damage, but if you group up on her, she doesn't really do AoE at all. She has none in her kit. So the fact that she could just focus down one person at a time and split them up actually benefited them greatly.
Yeah, and I mean, we have to mention a little bit how, yes, there is a double tank comp with 2 champions that they can, siege with. However, if you look at the flip side, there's also a lot of damage on the side of Ban Lulu. And if 1 or 2 of those damage threats from Sinzari's rejects are dead, their comp has very little damage, and I don't think we'll be able to get any targets with a late game Vayne or Aurelion Sol still alive.
Yeah, hopefully Blackie Chan fixes the item build that they've got. Get some actual damage items that
it looks like they are picking up a Gwynsu's right now, or a Bork. That can go to either one of them. So we will see one of those 2 tank shredding items coming out.
Yeah, and we should see a tower picked up at some point with this trinket.
It will be a bit rough, though, because of all the wave clear on the side of Sinzari's rejects. It's more just a denial, because if the Rift Herald went over to Sinzari's, that would have been really bad for Ban Lulu. Chain of Corruptions does connect, and the Glacial Prison does come out. Now the Tidal Wave hits him too, but Blackie Chan still isn't dead. Now Blast Quans are getting extremely low. Tumble forward, will secure the kill. The Shutdown Gold going over to Blackie Chan, as well as the Triumph Heal. Will he be able to make it out alive? Doesn't have any lifesteal, but does have some grass procs every once in a while. And will get another one, but won't live there. Shiro picking up the kill thanks to some of the help with the minions. Now Infinity Storm looks like he's going to drop 2. That's going to be a double kill for Shiro. Now in the bot lane, Sion dropping just randomly to Born a Winner after that whole thing. But they will get that return kill and a tower. So overall, very hectic, just trading left and right. 2 towers for the side of Sinzari's rejects, 1 for Ban Lulu.
Yeah, Sinzari's rejects getting the better of that with the
Can you really call it a better of that, though? It was a fairly close trade. They do get 1 tower bonus, yes.
And an extra kill.
Was it an extra kill? I think that they were at 12-4 before.
Oh, 2 for 2, you're right. So it's just an extra tower.
But yeah, but with Ban Lulu being behind, this might actually be better for them, as this game is getting closer and closer with these hectic fights.
You're right, but I do like opening up the mid lane. That gives a lot of room.
But that was going to happen anyways with the Ziggs.
Fair, that's fair.
So overall, very awkward trading from the side of Sinzari's rejects. Making some plays, but also taking a step back at the same time.
I do want to point out that this Aurelion Sol is now 3-1-1 and has 5 stacks on that ring of his. So he is getting the opportunity and picking up kills now. So he will be a bit of a threat in these team fights. If he can have the Amumu get a good initiation off, that will convert to true damage as well because of the Amumu passive.
Also, with the Karma Mantra E, on this, whole team, you can speed in an Amumu, speed up a Draven, speed up an Aurelion Sol, and give the Ardent Sensor to a Vayne. So this Karma pick with the Mantra E is extremely valuable for every single member of this team, because all of them love the movement speed, either for engaging or for kiting. And Unstoppable Onslaught does come out. Foodie Monster looking like the target. Mega Inferno Bomb does come out and will secure the kill onto the Foodie Monster with the Tidal Wave. Infinity Storm now looking like the next target. And Draven using the QSS to get away from Shiro and the Glacial Prison. Herald is in the mid lane just kind of sitting there and will just be wasted essentially.
Yeah, Mumu popped it early before that entire fight started just to try to get it down, I imagine. Top side and the Aurelian Soul on the bottom lane, giving them absolutely an open opportunity to engage here. And Draven goes down too. Vayne still not recalling, still split pushing is not going to be a good
Synergetic
situation.
TPing here.
Yeah,
I guess he wanted to pick up that wave.
Oh, that's a pretty fatty wave to pick up.
Yeah.
That's a lot of gold.
You always just recall, walk up there a little bit sooner, but you know, getting that gold anyways, sometimes you just want a little bit of extra coin in your pocket.
All right, now the Sinzari's team is going to recall here and make sure they have the gold in order to contest buffs and the Drake that's about to spawn. It's an Infernal.
Yeah, they do need to make sure that they properly contest this, as Synergetic doesn't have TP anymore since he TP'd to that top lane, and we see a lot of pings coming out from the side of Ban Lulu. However, Forever Jaded is a little bit behind everybody else, but it looks like they might even start up this dragon.
This is going to be a risky play when Amumu does not.
Yeah, it looks like it's just a 50-50 smite, and it will be secured by Shiro. Not great smite from Infinity Storm. Going to be a little bit sad there, but Foodie Monster missing the flash over the wall. Forever Jaded now in a bit of an awkward spot with Infinity Storm split from the team. Now Blackie Chan going to look to do his best, but not going to get the kill onto Shiro. Shiro extremely low, getting healed up massively from the Nami and the Ziggs though, and now just kind of chasing them out of their own jungle. Forever Jaded and Infinity Storm waddling away, licking their wounds with Born a Winner, as losing that Infernal Dragon as well as 2 kills. Everything just went as badly as it could have, considering it was a 4v5 with Sion still in that top lane.
Yes, I am not in a good position to respond, and now Amumu having to waste his questionable pathing choice trying to get to this tower. I'm not sure they can even hold this with Aurelian Soul not in position and the lack of wave clear available. I think they just have to give this one up.
Yeah, this bottom inner turret will go down. Now Sion going onto this Aurelian Soul, who was positioning very aggressively, looking like he's going to have to flash the wall, and he does. Counter flash coming out from the Sion, who doesn't have too many chase tools left. Might be able to make that Aurelian Soul escape. But they're still going for this bottom inhib turret, and with the Ziggs, with the Varus, they should be able to pick it up here. Just a Ziggs satchel charge can kill it. But that's not going to happen yet, as they're using it for fighting, and Maj does pick up a kill for himself due to that Mega Inferno Bomb. Getting some massive AoE damage there.
Yeah, that was.
Glacial Prison connecting. QSS immediately comes out from Forever Jaded, though. That tool will be on cooldown for both of them. But Inhib Tower does drop, and they are looking like they're going to get the Inhib here. Sinzari's Rejects has to be careful for all this turnaround, though. Vayne getting a lot of damage.
Alright, looks like they're just going to disengage here after they pick up the inhibitor. The Amumu went in with nobody in position to be able to respond, and it's a bit of an unfortunate situation when your ultimate has a ridiculously long cooldown. You're in such a weak position as an Amumu when you go in and you pretty much instantly die. It's a really tough. It's a tough job, and nobody really wants to do it. That's why nobody's been playing Amumu these days. I'm not sure how they come back into this one.
Definitely a very rough game for Ban Lulu to come back from. And I mean, I feel like if we look at the gold graphs at the end of this game, we're just going to see this kind of like curve of it's all blue side going up, 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 and then just big dip down towards the center, but not going negative. And I feel like blue has had a lead, but they just didn't always know what to do with it. And in the mid game, they really kind of dropped the ball a little bit, but their late game is much cleaner. And especially their team fighting, I feel, is their biggest strength. When they're properly team fighting grouped up together, they're getting a lot off of these fights.
And then I think they have an easier composition to work with when you have the Sion and the Sejuani who can just initiate. There's so many people on this team that can initiate for them. The Nami ult, the Varus ultimate, the Sejuani ult, Sion ult. You have so many options and tools at your disposal. And on the side of Ban Lulu, you basically just have the Karma E to try to get you out of dodge.
And look, they're just getting this Baron. It's just going down.
Uncontested. The vision control is incredible.
Yeah, they might not even see it. No, not even going to check it. Oh. That will be Baron secured for the side of Sinzari's Rejects as Blast Quasar just leaves the game. He's like, yeah, we won. Game over. I'm just going to AFK.
No problem. I'll let you guys 4v5 this.
And there's the pause coming out. Wouldn't be learning fives without a pause, boys.
Every time. All right, let's see. If you're in Ban Lulu's shoes, do you think you have a chance of coming back here with the limited wave clear on your team?
You can always come back from a game. It's all on Sinzari's rejects to throw it, though. You have, very subpar wave clear against a Baron team with a heavy siege composition. So the chance of them winning is very low. But if there's people split off getting caught out, or if Blackie Chan is just going to be able to scale up even longer and just split push, if, Sinzari's rejects aren't closing out properly, there's still opportunities to win this game. Right now, like, if I'm just throwing random percentages out there of how I would bet, it would be like a 95 to 5% chance of winning.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's about what I'd be looking forward to. A slight issue is I don't see this Vayne really grouping up with their team to try to make a team fight happen. Even if they do a full-scale team fight, the odds of them really winning are not great. They have to look for a pick here. Right now, the front line of Sejuani and Sion are out of the area. If I'm Ban Lulu, I'm looking for a pick right now. I'm looking for this mid lane to try to stop them from grouping up and doing something and sieging. Because if they're sieging, you're not going to stop them unless they do something ridiculous.
Yeah, so all in the hands of Sinzari's rejects to decide this game out or to throw it away. But it looks like they're just going to kind of set up properly and do the right thing. I would suggest that they just group 4 people together and then have maybe one person in a side lane. But maybe making an engage here for Lone Wolf, just walking up on this Nami, no fear.
You're in a decent spot as a support player when you're the same level as the enemy mid.
Yeah, definitely very big discrepancies in the gold as well as experience for these two teams. And it's really just how well Sinzari can close this game out at this point. Because realistically, there's no way that you can just play this game perfectly and win it from Ban Lulu's side. It's all about the misplays. And look at this Silence Health, Synergetic getting melted by this Gwynsu's Vayne, and will die! Blackie Chen with a solo kill, finally coming online, finally getting that Gwynsu's. Is it happening? The Vayne coming online. Are we going to see the Caps turn around?
I would like to say yes.
Oh, Amumu getting the Curse of the Side Mummy onto 2 people. Varus being one of them, and he will drop to the Voice of Light from the Aurelion Soul. Shiro getting extremely low as well, and does actually die too to Blackie Chan. The Vayne is online, going forward, tumbling in, looking for the second kill, and gets the double onto the Nami. Forever Lone Wolf now dead. Maj only person alive, and Blackie Chan is doing it, making the dreams come true. Vayne picking up the ace here for the side of Ban Lulu.
They are just making us eat our words, aren't they? That 5% is 5 in a way that we wouldn't have expected. Sion getting picked off by the Vayne alone, completely ignoring and disrespecting the damage output of a Vayne against a full tank, getting punished for it heavily and putting his team in a terrible position, trying to fight 4v5, maybe just completely underestimating the amount of damage. Really good initiation by Infinity Storm as well, prevents them from doing anything in that fight. That was crazy.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we needed to see coming out from the side of Ban Lulu. They took advantage of the misplays provided by Sinzari, and they just go rolling with it. Now there is an Infernal Drake spawning, though, and it looks like Sinzari is in position to take this pretty safely. So, yes, they did win that fight, but now Sinzari is going to come back even stronger for the next one. So it's still not a one game by any means, but they did prove that it is possible.
Yeah, they proved that it's possible as long as both of your carries don't use their ultimates in a team fight. And the
Unstoppable Onslaught does come out into the jungle, and Born a Winner having to waste that flash on the Aurelion Soul might nip him in the butt later on.
Yeah, he's going to want that next time. But yeah, Varus dying without even getting an auto off in that last team fight is pretty hard to come back from. So hopefully we've got the QSS picked up here, so he should be able to be a factor in the next fight for sure.
Yeah, and they're kind of just repeating their steps, going for a group mid, except this time Vayne isn't in the side lane with a Scion, so it is just a straight 5v5 now. Infinity Storm gets a nice bandage toss off and could have went for the big play.
Oh!
But the mega damage coming out from Madge, destroying Foodie Monster, means that now they're at a numbers disadvantage, which is absolutely horrible for the side of Ban Lulu, who are on their last foot here.
Right, and even bigger, the Ardent Sensor is no longer
Blast
available.
Squizar our DCs again, though. Wait, it's a 4v4 again! He's back. He's back in the game, but now you're in the situation where your ADC is halfway down the lane. I don't know if they have the information of how far away the Varus is, but they might be able to get a good chunk off and actually zone them off of this inhib tower.
Right, this buys them a bit of time. If they can get an initiation on Ziggs, though, it might give them the opportunity to do enough damage to take out the carries before the Varus can respond. It's a really risky situation here.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go over chasing for a kill, especially not knowing where this Varus is while he DC'd. As we can see, he's kind of near the center of the lane, so they do have a solid 5 seconds until Varus gets there, but probably just going to take some nice poke onto the Scion, chunk him out about half HP. But with the Wormogs and an Ami, he's not going to really care about that too much.
No, I'm just worried if they can get onto the Ziggs.
Yeah, Maj right there is looking really juicy. Or even Forever Lone Wolf. I mean, you have an Amumu who has Flash, Curse of the Sad Mummy. If he lands a good bandage toss, he can definitely get a nice 4-man ulti here. It's still very scary without that Karma, though, with the shielding.
Yeah, the shielding and the Ardent Sensor is huge for this team comp with the Draven and the Vayne wanting it.
I'm kind of sad that he DC'd, but at the same time, I'm also kind of happy that we're put in the situation where you get to see Ban Lulu is put in a decision. Do we back off here? Do we go for the all-in? What are we going to do? They definitely could. We're going to have to find out right now as the unpause is coming through. Infinity Storm is walking forward, does get a nice ulti off, gets 2 people CC'd, but are they going to get kills? They do get Forever Lone Wolf. Now Blackie Chan going for some damage, doesn't get Chain of Corruption, and takes out Synergetic. Now we're looking for the LCS big play as Madge dies to Infinity Storm, and they make it happen again. Unfortunate DC there by Blast Quizar means that his team is going to actually die. But Blackie Chan does get a little bit too greedy, goes too far forward. Now looking like they're going to turn that back around. Blast Quizar does get extremely low, and I have lost everything. He does not die. Gonna finally get taken out by Infinity Storm, but we also see Shiro dropping to
incredible.
Someone else. I missed it as my spectator just went complete kaboom. But again, a second ace happened, Belk.
Amumu legitimately soloed out the Ziggs again and almost single-handedly killed Blasquezar again, chasing him and preventing anybody from escaping this team fight. Really good bandage toss onto Forever Lone Wolf, and they just punished them so hard again for the disrespect, and now they're gonna get an inhib off of this situation.
Yeah, they get an inhib tower. They do not get the inhib though, and the unstoppable onslaught coming out, dealing huge damage to Forever Jaded, who QSS's a bit early. Still stay stunned by that Scion, and will get slowed again. Now they're gonna have to see if they can make it out. But Forever Lone Wolf walking too far forward on this Nami again. Seems to be a trend for this Nami, and does get taken out by Born a Winner, who will look for a second kill onto Synergetic. Draven getting a cash out there, really nice for him. Voice of the Light just to secure his own safety. Born a Winner gonna waddle away with his low health teammates, and wow. They get another 2 kills off of that. This game went from, oh yeah, we don't... 5% chance! 5%!
Yeah, now it's a coin flip. It's a coin flip.
50-50.
I can't believe it. I can't believe we've come...
And this Vayne, she's just scaling up even more and more. She now picked up Immortal Reminder.
She's level 17 now. Tied with the Amumu for highest in the game. She's a monster.
I want to rip my hair out.
The amount of experience they've picked up off of these throws and all of the shutdown gold given over puts them in such a decent position now. They've got the inhib tower down. They can match. At this point, any kind of initiation is risky because if you don't lock down this Vayne, she will just start shredding your tanks.
Yeah. And now, even if you just look at the minimap, you can see there is so much confidence for the side of Ban Lulu. They are walking past their towers. That is way more than they were doing 5-10 minutes ago. Now they have to just be careful. They're not going to get caught out doing something a little bit risky like Infinity Storm here. Forever Lone Wolf getting in a bit of a greedy position, but does get out with his team right on his wing.
Mm-hmm. Baron's going to be spawning in 13 seconds. We've got
Oh,
another
Blacky Chan?
Oh.
You always got to keep an eye on this Vayne. She can pop off at any second.
Yeah, still no QSS. If she gets her hands on a QSS, then it'll be very risky for them. Because if you can't lock down the Vayne, then she can just do whatever she wants.
Yes, a QSS is nice on her, but look how tanky this Vayne is too. With the Grasp, with the Resolve, with the Frozen Mallet, this Vayne has a total of almost 3,000 HP right now. So while she might get CC'd, who's CCing her? Is she getting CC'd and then auto-attacked by Blasquazar or getting hit by Madge? Or is it just, synergetic on her? Because I think she can eat, all of Sejuani and Sion's damage and still live.
Yeah, it comes down to if the Ziggs manages to get DPS onto her.
Yeah, we're going to have to see. Looks like it's going to be a straight 5v5 here, though, for this Baron. You have to be careful, though, because the team fight from Sinzari's rejects is still extremely strong. And they're just running it down mid.
Yeah, you give them the inside track on the mid lane, and it's a Ziggs. Ziggs doesn't take a whole lot of time to destroy your towers. It looks like
they're panicking, they're recalling, but it looks like they're just going to lose this tower, as Ziggs is just going to satchel it here.
Right, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Free tower is gone, but we've got the Amumu flank. Good interrupt, prevents the initiation.
He doesn't have the flash. Blacky Chan looking aggressively. Now all the ultimates coming out. Tidal Wave. Curse of the Side Mummy is popped here. Now Blacky Chan dishing out some damage onto Shiro, but already losing Infinity Storm means that this fight's looking a lot messier than the last ones. Blacky Chan not getting a single kill there, just not having enough DPS to melt through those tanks fast enough.
Right, and with the jungler down, that's a Baron. And it looks like he's going to try to take it.
With those double Warmogs, those tanks just full health again. And so,
they don't care.
And with the Nami, these squishies never have to worry about health either. So now, back to full health, there's pretty much no contention for this Baron. And now the Elder Dragon spawning too. Infinity Storm is still dead, off the map. They might just pick up Baron into an Elder Dragon. Voice of Light does come out, but the Smite Secure is going to come from Shiro. So no steal today. And they're walking straight to that Elder, with Amumu still dead for another 14 seconds.
That was a very unfortunate forced initiation. As soon as the interrupts came through by this Sejuani blocking the bandage toss, I think you just have to back off and look again. You don't have to. And they're melting this dragon.
And look at where all the members are. They're mostly in base. There's no way they're going to make it here in time. They're getting some nice damage onto Synergetic, though. He's going to get healed up, and if left alone, will Warmogs heal. But now this Elder Dragon is coming up, and this lockdown, melting Forever Jaded. Blacky Chan in a horrible position for himself, and will get taken out shortly. If he isn't already going to be taken out by the Elder Burn, we'll make it out, maybe? Oh, gonna die to minions. Okay, that happened.
That's so unfortunate.
That's one way to go. I mean,
that's not the way I would have chosen to go with my
Shiro getting a second kill onto Foodie Monster 2. And look at these waves. They're just shoving into the base of Ban Lulu. They had no preparation for this dragon whatsoever. And so now, huge waves in the top and mid. Wave coming up in the bottom with that Baron buff and that whole team there. I don't see how they're going to get that 5% chance again. As Madge picking up the kill onto Infinity Storm. Born a winner. Not looking like the winner today as he's getting stunned up and taken out. Everybody dead. Ace for the side of Sinzari's rejects. And with that, it looks like they're going to be able to go for the win.
Yeah, that was a bad position to be put in where you have to try to contest that Elder Drake, but you're too late to get there. And by the time you show up, they have the Elder Drake, and then they can just do 1,000,000 damage to you with the Elder Burn, because that was a double Infernal, a triple Elder Drake. That's a lot of true damage to be taking, and your entire team isn't there with you. You come in basically 3v5 against an Elder Drake Baron team. Just an unfortunate situation that they were put in. I think it was a really good call, rushing to the mid turret and forcing their hand. I don't think they were prepared for that kind of macro call, and they played it really well. They took the mid tower and then they rotated to Baron after the overcommit by Amumu, and they were punished hard for it.
Yeah, and with that, this game does go over to Sinzari's rejects as Ban Lulu tragically loses. I believe we have another game immediately after this, which should be starting soon. I don't know if any of these teams are coming into the next one. We'll have to check on that. But don't go anywhere, as we're going to get right into Game 2 in a few minutes, guys.
tonight. Oh, just until the morning light. Oh, and it's okay if what you want is a breakup. All I really care is that you're here when I wake up. Would you please stay tonight?
It's okay if what you want is a body jumping.
Would you please stay tonight? Oh, just until the morning light. Oh, and it's okay if what you want is a breakup. All I really care is that you're here when I wake up. Would you please stay tonight?
It's been too long with too many wrongs. What have I done? You've forgotten the words to our song. Now it's gone. Take it back just for one night. Take all the wrongs and pretend that we're alright. Feel the rhythm in our souls, let them entwine. 'Cause you know what you do to me. It's not fair, I don't care. Take you there, make you mine before we're out of time, out of time. Let's synchronize. Let's Don't be so distant. Don't be so distant. So distant, distant from me, from me. You're
Take it back just for one night. Take all the wrongs and pretend that we're alright. Feel the rhythm in our souls, let them intertwine. Cause you know what you do to me. It's not fair, I don't care. Take you there, make it mine before we're out of time. Let's come on, step with me. Let our bodies sing in harmony till the morning light. Silent in the dark, waiting for the spark. The wood soaked in the blood, their hands join in the mud. The ember gently glowed, the spark took to their clothes. The flames kept on rising higher. They stood in the fire, burned with desire, love and emotion. They danced with devotion. They stood in the fire, burned with desire, love and emotion. They danced with devotion. Stood in the fire.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our second and final match of the night. I'm Law Meowing Cat, joined by Belkarama yet again. And we are having a somewhat rematch of last game with Sinzari's rejects over on the red side. And now on the blue side, we have connection issues, which is also a team coached by the same coach. So they get their second run at it. They're putting in the B team, the big boys. And we're going to hopefully see a very close game as we did last game with some very back and forth gameplay.
Well, they also have the advantage since they're coached by the same team, I'm guessing they probably paid attention to the match that they just saw, as we see bans coming and going real fast here. Shaco taken out of the equation and said these are some very interesting fixed ban.
Yeah, I'll have to confirm if that's actually what was banned in the pro draft. We can do a quick double check on that.
I'm gonna look real quick.
Yeah, before we go too in depth to it,
Yes.
as it is loading very slowly. That is
Yes.
actually what was banned, though. So yeah, Zed, Zaya, Varus, as well as Ari, Shaco, Riven. Very interesting banning phase, to say the least.
Well,
And-
the Varus I can understand
Yeah,
because
okay,
of the amount of pressure that he put out in that lane. The fact that Blasquez did a really good job, really aggressive flash ultimates just to initiate fights. He did a really good job on that champion. Whoa, wait.
And yeah, that is a Morgana mid lane, it looks like, for Madge, as there is a different support pick for Forever Lone Wolf. And I mean, it does make sense, as I believe the coach of Sinzari's rejects did say that Madge is actually a support main. So that makes sense, kind of putting a comfort champion, maybe, for Madge in this mid lane. So
Right, we
it,
get a little
it
bit
makes
of
sense. I mean,
sister.
Morgana is very good as well.
And we have some sister on sister violence here. Oh no, sorry, I'm crazy. It's Kale. They're
Who are you thinking was a sister? Syndra?
Lux. I don't know.
I mean, dark versus light, you can still make it work.
Yeah, it kind of works, but anyways, not really.
Let's just forget about it. Let's just move on.
Yeah, fair enough.
As you know, we haven't really mentioned the matchups too much. We are seeing a Sejuani second game in a row, except this time it's taken away from Shiro. So Shiro on that Poppy instead. And Poppy jungle's been pretty decent recently, especially in high level play. Very good pick. And against the Sejuani does do pretty well. Not too much mobility in the solo laners. We'll have to see if there's any other picks that she can use her W to counter.
Well, just taking away the inability for the Sejuani to initiate is a pretty big deal. And also, if Poppy manages to get onto this Caitlyn, it prevents the 90 caliber net, from making the getaway.
Yeah, and the Nami's picked again. Actually, another takeaway pick from Forever Lone Wolf, who will pick the Leona this game. So, really interesting that they're taking away 2 champions and then banning out a third one. So, a lot of denial. Actually, 4. Excuse me, as the Ziggs was also banned out.
Yeah, it shows that they were paying attention to the that they were successful with. So instead, we've got something completely different here. Leona Kaisa is probably going to get poked in quite heavily by the Caitlyn Nami, but of course, Leona's able to set up a bunch of procs if she manages to get in on either of Nami or Caitlyn, with Kaisa's passive procs doing a lot of damage.
I mean, with this Morgana in the mid lane, later in the game, this Sejuani, Lux, even the Nami are going to have a lot less pick power. So you have a lot of denial with that in the mid to late game. You have a hyper carry on the Kaisa. You have a lot of damage loaded up with the Darius as well. And so you have a multi-threat composition. You also have that extremely valuable Morgana Black Shield against, the pretty heavy CC from the side of Connection Issues. And Connection Issues, their composition is very it's very noticeable when everything is happening. They don't have any kind of big engage tools except for the Sejuani. And when you see Sejuani, you're keeping an eye out for her. So other than that, there's not much playmaking. And if you look at the flip side of Sinzari's, they have the Leona from an engage. They have Morgana who can make picks. They have Poppy who can make an engage or a pick. And then, you have Darius, who's going to be a very big split push threat, especially against this Dr. Mundo, who's a pretty decent matchup for him.
Yeah, I look at this team comp and I think to myself, I would not want to have to chase this team comp. Because if you try to chase after them, you're going to eat so many slows and poke that it's going to be disgusting. The Lux E field, the Caitlyn poke with the Nami E in place, the nonstop cleavers being thrown out. You need a pretty decent engage and a pick.
It kind of reminds me of the draft of last game, actually. Just,
a little bit,
the same sides. Sinzari's rejects kind of switching it up, doing what was the last team? It was Ban Lulu did. And this team, Connection Issues, running almost exactly what Sinzari's did with some variations. But mid lane poke mage, they have a long range 80 carry, the sustain support Nami, the exact same pick actually. And then they have the Sejuani and another frontliner to protect them. So basically just the exact same comp as last game that Sinzari ran. So it's a bit interesting to see that because Sinzari knows how to run this composition, at least through some parts of the game.
Right,
and so
they know how to play it. They just did.
So now they kind of know how to play against it as well, having experience with this. And you also have to know that Sinzari played the last game. They're coming in hot off of a win, and they're warmed up. while connection issues, they do have the advantage of being able to watch the game, kind of strategize about it. But those players also are coming in cold turkey without, any practice warming up besides maybe practice tool right beforehand.
All right. We'll see how it's going to go.
Yeah. Are there any matchups that you're wanting to keep an eye out for this game?
Well, Darius and Dr. Mundu are kind of it's a juggernaut matchup top lane, so they're just going to beat on each other, but Darius is taking the ignite here, which is important if he wants to actually have good kill pressure. The Dr. Mundo does get low before he pops his ultimate, so maybe he can get him into a situation where he can pop that ignite, reduce the amount of healing coming out, and get his ultimate off quickly.
It's actually one of the best Darius matchups in top lane.
Yeah,
so
that's one that's going to be interesting to watch out for. Yeah. The Dr. Mundo is shield in these team fights. A lot of the times you just want to ignore the Mundo in team fights until you've dealt with his entire team first. But the Darius, if he manages to pick up some quick kills, he can snowball, especially with a Morgana Black Binding and the follow-up on a Kai'Sa.
Yeah. But with that, we're going to go to a quick break. Don't go anywhere, as we are coming back with our second game of Sinzari's Rejects versus Connection Issues. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our final match of the night. I'm Law Meowing Cat, joined here by Belkarama. We had a little tech issue loading in, but we are on the Rift. Game's loaded, working well. And looking forward to an exciting Game 2 with one of the returning teams, as well as one of the teams that's not returning, but has the same coach as the previous team. So we're going to introduce the teams. On the blue side, we do have connection issues, who hopefully don't have any connection issues like Blasquezar, with Felinisk in the top lane, Athreos, oh my, these are some great names in the jungle, and Pearly in the mid lane, Scruffles on AD carry, and Brevity on support.
And on the red side, we've got Sinzari's Reject. We've got Synergetic in the top lane, Ishiro in the jungle, Maj48 in the mid lane, Blasquezar in the bottom, and Forever Lone Wolf on the Leona in the bot lane.
Yeah, and so as we saw last game, Sinzari's Rejects are the returning players. They did win the last game, so they're coming off hot, and we'll have to see if they're feeling it this game, because they have a much more aggressive composition than last game.
Yeah, they've already getting a heavy shove in onto this bot lane. Scruffles and Brevity pretending to try to deny information over from the other team, already trying to play the mind games. Poppy as well starting on the top side and not getting a leash, giving the advantage to Blasquezar and Forever Lone Wolf to get a bit of an early shove into this lane.
Yeah. And, I mean, this bot lane, while there can be some aggressive plays, is all about this level 2 engage with the Forever Lone Wolf. Going in onto Brevity, getting a lot of damage, and getting that Kaisa 4th passive proc means a lot of damage onto that Nami that she won't be able to sustain up too easily. Has to use a pot there.
Alright, but of course Nami does have her W up and using whatever potions is available. Of course, with the support item costing 50 gold more now than it used to, a lot less potions available, so the early poke does matter a lot more than it used to.
Yeah. And, I mean, you'd have to be careful, because even if you do win the trade initially, the Nami and Caitlyn do have a lot of poke as well as a sustain. And, oh, the 5 stacks up on Synergetic, dealing some nice damage onto the Mundo. Alright, how are you going to say this name?
Felonyesk? I think. Felonyesk.
Felonyesk? Yeah, that's right, but that's a mouthful.
That's a lot of syllables.
Say Fel?
Fel, yeah, let's do that.
Let's go with Fel.
Or we could just call him Mundo, but...
we'll go Fel. We're going to call everybody else by their name. I'm not going to go all the way to Felon-esque.
It is a mouthful, I'll give you that. So, Fel, respecting the 5 stack and immediate blown up by the increased AD. We've got a Poppy gank coming on the bot side. Spotted out and pulls out.
These Poppy ganks right now aren't going to be too devastating unless she gets a nice pin onto a wall. But later on, she does have the Predator rune, actually. So she can make some very good engages and picks with that.
Yeah, the risk is always... that the Leona gets in on her first, and then the Poppy just comes to follow up. The Nami has to really respect that, because Nami is pretty squishy, all things considered.
Yeah. Nami actually one of the lower health champions in the game. Not the lowest, though. That goes to Pyke now, I believe, right?
I thought Pyke had one of the highest base healths, and also the highest at 18.
I don't remember who it was, but someone recently overtook Sona as the lowest base health.
I always thought it was Sona, and it would forever remain Sona, because it is like a walking cannon minion early game.
I forget who it was, but it was someone like surprising that you were like, huh.
I'm curious. All right, after this game,
we'll have to stat check that later on.
Kind of curious.
Twitch chat, you know what to do.
Yeah, lol wiki this. We can't do it right now.
Yeah, as we do have to pay attention, as any second fight can break out. Nice poke onto Blasquezar. And I mean, if you do land a good bubble, Scruffles can immediately follow up with a trap, and that's going to be half of someone's health at the very least, if not an all-in, from this bot lane of connection issues.
Yeah, despite the poke and despite that, the Doran's shield will keep her relatively healthy here. And she is up on CS on this Kaisa, which bodes well.
Yeah. Well, the Kaisa also does have a few more minions to get in this wave, so I think it's basically about dead even. If not a slight lead. Yeah, there's a slight lead for Blasquezar, actually, on the Kaisa. So
just a little bit of an advantage, but every little bit counts when you should technically be being bullied out.
Yeah, but look at this. Athreos is actually spotted out by the ward right here.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of pretending they don't know what's going on.
And now, look at this. Shiro's actually in the backside looking for a response. And Madge is actually roaming down too. They're baiting them forward by saying, hey guys, look, we're going to walk up. You can maybe get engaged. They're engaging now, but Shiro's on the backside. Madge is following up too. This is going to break out into a 3v4 real fast. Brevity getting extremely low and does get taken out. First blood going over to Shiro. Now looking for a second kill. The flash ulti does come out from the level 6 Madge. And Blastquazar picks up a kill onto Athreos.
Incredible patience by the Synergetic, by the crew, by... the name. Really good job by Red Side here. Sinzari's rejects, not giving away any information and respecting, playing it really well. Forever Lone Wolf goes in as soon as Sejuani backs off a little bit, and they get everything off of that. Really good roam, really great play.
Yeah, huge play. They aren't going to go for that Drake, saying it's okay, it's a little greedy. Are they going to look for a reset here? Oh,
hey, they might shove in an extra wave.
They didn't know Scruffles is still here, though. But Scruffles actually does back, so this is actually pretty good for them. They're going to get a nice back off here. They're going to have that kill gold extra on Blastquazar. And that means it's just a lot more kill pressure on this Leona Kaisa bot lane.
Yeah, while it would have been nice to be able to pick up a Ocean Drake early just for the extra sustain to try to nullify the poke and the healing on the side from the Nami, it would have been a greedy play, and it was probably the right choice to just back off since the Poppy was at half after that initial play, and it was risky since they didn't know where the Lux was.
Yeah. Now, with that all going down, you do have some summoners used, in that aggressive play. Madge not having the flash anymore, also doesn't have TP compared to Amperly, who does have both summoners in that mid lane. And this, Morgana, without her flash, she has that cooldown of the Black Shield that she can use to nullify the Sejuani ganks. But if she gets it baited out by the Lux, then she's in a bad spot. But look at this top lane engage. The two melees getting the stun real fast on a Synergetic, and who will actually drop to Athreos. Again, Sejuani, right place, right time. Okay, this time, right place at the right time. Bot lane was wrong place, wrong time.
And a lot of time, I think, is the bigger issue.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, she was only level 5 up there when she did that gank, but still works out because Mundo getting those kills means that she's going to get her stun a lot faster. And
with no teleport on Synergetics Darius, they might actually be able to knock this out. Mundo gets a lot of from his E, so they might be able to get this first tower here.
Yeah, the Masochism is giving him an extra 44 damage right now because he's missing a little bit of health, but just not enough. Yeah, and because there's a cannon wave here, because Synergetic is coming right back up, they're not going to be able to get it here. So that's quite unfortunate. But really that means that if there is a regank here, especially with Athreos now having the Glacial Prison, that could definitely be a very huge shutdown where you just demolish Synergetic.
Yeah, you missed it, but Amperly, having to blow flash from a really good Poppy gank coming around the backside, so that evens up the summoner in the mid lane here.
Yeah. Now, Morgana has a lot of wave clear, and so does Lux, so honestly, I don't think these mid laners will be roaming too much more, as they're just going to kind of be matching each other this whole time, which is pretty nice for the side of Amperly, because Madge, as we saw, does really like to roam, even when not on such a roaming champion. Even on the Ziggs last game, was actually matching Aurelion Sol extremely well.
It's always a surprise whenever the Ziggs is following you as Aurelion Sol. You expect with your E to be able to get opportunities, and you don't expect the Ziggs to be right behind you. But I think Madge just knows that if you don't follow, and since it's not an assassin, it's relatively safe to do so.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that really suits Madge's playstyle, because Madge is a support main, and he has shown, a little bit of more castery mid laners, but bot lane engage coming down. Forever Lone Wolf gonna be able to flash out, not get CC too hard. Now the ultimate is gonna come out. The Leona ult does not fully connect, getting the stun, but we'll get a slow 1 kill going over to Blastquazar from Brevity, and a second kill does go over to Forever Lone Wolf, and that's a 2-for-0 in favor of Sinzari's rejects.
Yeah, Athreos forcing the issue on the bot side again. The Brevity's bubble and the wave not connecting, and unfortunately, Poppy is in the area and manages to clean up.
Yeah, that's first blood tower just going down, and so that top lane, all that damage on that tower, not going to be as beneficial since they didn't get that regank. And I really would have liked to see Athreos just regank that Darius, get that top advantage, make this Mundo into a winning Mundo where he's not going to be, punished as hard by the Darius, get him out of that lane possibly even so he can do some more stuff with that tower down. But now with that bot lane again failing, looks like they're going to be able to possibly fight for a Drake, although maybe not grading too hard.
Yeah,
but they do get a lot of gold off of that tower.
Yeah, it does seem like they don't really want to fight them over this Drake. They concede that it's just not worth the effort. So I'm kind of curious if the Leona and Kai'Sa are going to rotate topside here to try to deal with this Mundo, or if they're just going to go back bot. Yeah,
Dr. Mundo will pick up the top tower here, as no one has CP available except the mid lane from Madge. That's not going to be used there. So it's interesting to see where they're going to go. It looks like they're just going to go down mid lane for now. Which, I mean, there is no bottom tower for them to really go for, so there's no reason to really just run back down there. It is nice to go top lane and get this top tower, but then you're conceding the Ocean Drake, which you might not want to do due to the composition of the poke siege comp potential of the Caitlyn Nami Lux.
Right, but at the same time, you don't really have a lot of pressure on this tower if you're just stuck dealing with a Lux wave clearing nonstop. Yes, she does have to auto a few times to deal with the remaining HP on the minions, but at some point the Lux is still going to be able to take out all these minions, and if push comes to shove, she can just ult the wave, and you're not going to get a whole lot of chip damage onto the tower. So it looks like they're just going to go bot for the moment. I'd like to see them again go for this Rift Herald and make a play on it to try to pop one of the harder to take towers.
Yeah, they definitely do need to do something soon, as if they just leave their bot lane here, they're just kind of going to stagnate for a while, not really get anything. So we'll have to see if they're going to force any objectives soon. We do see Synergetic up in this top side, might be getting collapsed by Athreos, who is sitting in this Rift Herald pit, hasn't been spotted yet, and is now revealing himself. But Dr. Mundo is already chasing Synergetic down. Synergetic getting really low from this Mundo, actually, and the Sejuani gonna land the Q. A lot of healing coming out from Synergetic, but the stopwatch is gonna come out. He does not get the second Q off, though, and he will finally fall. Got really close to actually turning that around there, though.
Yeah, and with Sejuani showing up topside, they take the opportunity to take this dragon, trading the Darius for it. Of course, if you're Sinzari's rejects, you start to get worried whenever you see a Mundo get big. At least I know I do. I have PTSD.
Well, with the Dr. Mundo, you always have the Darius who does deal true damage. You have Kai'Sa with very heavy mixed percent health damage as well. So you do always have ways to take him down throughout the game. And you still will be a bit scared of this Mundo, as he will be tough to take down. But they definitely do have tank shredding through the Kai'Sa and the Darius.
Yeah, fair enough. But with all that being said, Kai'Sa having lots of time in this bot lane, no chance for them to stop the Rift Herald take, so instead taking the opportunity to get some free damage onto inner tower here.
Yeah,
not
damage.
Much damage, since only the one item breakpoint here, but still better than nothing.
Yeah. And I mean, Kai'Sa's push isn't that strong because a lot of her damage is on hit. Her damage to champions is a lot more than to towers because, those Guinsoo's procs, that extra passive damage, she's not getting that on a tower. So her pushing is kind of underwhelming in comparison, especially compared to Caitlyn, who's very good at pushing.
Right, ever since they changed it so headshots apply to towers, Caitlyn's been is an incredible tower taker.
Yeah, definitely up there on that ADC tower taking tier list. But with this, I mean, we did mention the composition, how on the blue side, connection issues do have a lot of siege potential. They also have a teleport advantage in this top side compared to Synergetic. So yes, Synergetic is going to be a very strong split pusher later on, especially because he's going for a Triforce Darius, which means a lot of damage, especially to these towers. But he also isn't going to be able to group with his team. So they really do need to force the disengage with the Poppy, with the Morgana, and it looks like they're going to have to force the flash here from Shiro.
Yeah, agreed. Manages to take out the vision, but it's put into an unfortunate bond, and the ultimates come out and quickly blows the flash to stay alive there.
Yeah, and they're still putting Blaskozar and Forever Lone Wolf bot lane instead of top lane. They're not getting anything off of this. They're kind of just stagnating, wasting time. They're losing mid pressure now, and they might be looking for a bit of an aggressive play here. Look at this positioning. I think Brevity might be pinned against the wall. He does get stunned down by Poppy. The binding does miss, though, and so they aren't going to secure the kills. Poppy completely with his Shiro doesn't hit anybody. Now dies. And as well as Madge dropping, the Leona's stun does come down. Brevity does get stunned up, but it's not going to matter as Blasquezar getting taken low, getting stunned up and gets taken out. Ace in the hole does not get connected as Fell picks up a shutdown gold onto the Kaisa for that Dr. Mundo. And are they going to get the Darius too? Synergetic, what are you doing? He does land a very nice Q, gets a lot of healing, but gets stunned down. And Fell picks up another kill, except this time he goes over to Scruffles.
What was that? That was the Rift Herald's going to come down too for an extra bit of gold coming over. That was a huge mistake. Poppy and Morgana not using their abilities very synergetically. The binding misses because the Poppy lands the stun onto the wall, and it prevents the follow-up, and lots of wasted abilities and people going in at inopportune times.
Yeah, it's going to get one tower, almost gets the second one. However, they don't want to greed, tempering their aggression a little bit. But that's bringing the gold to almost dead even now, based off, and you know, with that gold lead early on from the side of Sinzari's, connection issues is not upset at all with how that turned out.
No, they're pretty thrilled about the fact that they basically just got everything they wanted off of that play. They wanted to siege mid, and instead they just offered up a bunch of kills to go along with it. Darius dying under the tower unforced. That's a pretty big mistake.
It looks like there's going to be a return tower here, though. So leaving their mid a little too exposed when resetting means that that lead will go back over in favor to Sinzari's again. But this Darius is now pretty underwhelming compared to this Dr. Mundo. He's getting pretty strong with that 202 scoreline.
At least the Darius now has his Triforce, so at least he has his completed item. It's a pretty big power spike. It's, of course, he's not going to be as tanky or as resilient as this Mundo, as proven time and again 3 times. In fact, he has gone down just to the Mundo almost exclusively. So
yeah, that last fight he did kind of drop to the whole team, but there is kind of a point where Mundo can just overtake Darius and just kind of stat check him through poking with Q. It's not just stat checking. Mundo does have to hit a few Qs beforehand, but there definitely is some kill pressure here now for Fell against Synergetic on this Darius.
And there's not going to be any objectives to really fight for, except for that bot side tower for the next little bit. Next dragon won't be up for another 50 seconds, so I'd like to see some vision being set up, especially since it's an Infernal. Expect a lot of action to be popping off soon. Other than that, the Baron coming up in a minute and 30, which will be the next big objective, but it looks like they have their eyes set on this very low mid tower.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to try to siege for it. They will get it taken, and doesn't look like they're really going to have to pay anything for it. So, nice pickup there. Now turning their attention towards that Infernal. Now, something I want to note. Oh, yeah. It looks like they have a very good vision line set up, and the thing is, they don't have a good trap line set up by Scruffles, though. Oh, finding lands. God, there's a lot. Okay, we're back in as a kill goes over to Shiro. Just complete mayhem breaking out.
Yeah,
Fell drops first there.
Yeah, they managed to get the initiation that they need. They managed to get the oh, is Leona gonna get caught out here? No, manages to get out with the black shield.
That's so unfortunate. They get a kill, but they can't even get the Infernal Drake off of it.
Right,
are they gonna get zoned off when they're 5-4?
The jungler is kind of low right now, so it'd be pretty risky to get in here. Trap line set up. They need to go using this blast cone, but it looks like both teams are kind of.
And this top wave is built up very large too. Madge, they can put Madge in the side lane actually, up in the top side, and he can just clear up there with his TP available.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen Madge really make a lot of plays with this teleport. Most of the time, she just walked down instead of teleporting, so.
Yeah, and look at this Infernal Drake going away because they put Synergetic up in the top lane without teleport again. And just conceding that Drake. That's really unfortunate, considering they have so much damage threats with the Kai'Sa, with the Darius. Morgana obviously also loves having extra AP for even her defensive purpose of the Black Shield, but she likes AP too for her offensive capability, so really kind of hurts that they're just conceding that for free.
Well, especially
when they
when
already fought it and it went well.
They fought for it, yeah, and they gave up their positioning, and they didn't respond appropriately to be able to take that. That's a bit of a wasted opportunity, and it might bite them later on. This game is a lot closer than the previous one, which they had issues closing out. It might make them a bit nervous.
Yeah, it does seem like the positioning and the objective focus from the side of Sinzari's rejects is a bit underwhelming. It looks like they know how to teamfight when they do try to, but they're not properly grouping. They're not properly assigning lanes all the time. And so it's really showing this game, especially because they don't have the TP like they did last game, that they're not properly assigning Synergetic or other people to side lanes. They're not using their teleports to their advantage as much as they should be, because it's not on their top laner. It's not the traditional, we put top laner here, easy peasy. Now they sometimes need to put Mage there, sometimes they need to put Synergetic there. It's a lot less binary, and it's something they already struggled with last game.
Right, and Blasquezar and Forever Lone Wolf have been guilty of sitting in the bot lane for a lot of time too. So that puts them, they wasted a lot of opportunities that they could have had to try to snowball their early lead.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate. But now with Synergetic in the bot side, he will have to match Fel. And if he can match Fel and stay on him and make sure he can't TP, that's going to be very good. But look at Forever Lone Wolf's positioning. Has the flash on the Leona. About to get stunned up though. Does get stunned, but flashes away right before the stun connects. So will make it out with his life. Now Fel getting some damage taken by Synergetic, both trading back and forth a little bit. The flash forward from Synergetic, but the Q not connecting. The bleed stack's about to fall off. And the Mundo will escape using the ultimate. Now Darius doesn't have flash. That's actually huge for Synergetic, as he might be able to get run down by Fel now.
I feel like I've seen this song and dance play out multiple times during the laning phase. Synergetic immediately in a this time Mundo not even having to flash himself, and now he's in a pretty good position because the next time Synergetic plays aggressively, you can't follow him. It makes it life much easier for the Mundo to just throw some cleavers and just dip out. He doesn't have to worry about the Darius chasing after him like that again for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, if Fel backs up far enough, the Synergetic isn't within range, especially without that flash, he can just TP uncontested. And Synergetic maybe can take a tower, but if you win a team fight and get a Baron off of it, a tower is a small price to pay.
Especially if it's just an inner tower. It's not like it's an inhibitor tower that you're giving to the inhib. So, not the end of the world.
CC landing back and forth, but people just not grouping around it means that not going to have any picks coming from it.
Right, and you've got a Morgana binding, and you also have a Kai'Sa CC pretty well. It's just kind of unfortunate that they're not playing around their strengths.
Yeah, and I mean, both teams do have very good pick potential, so it's whoever gets caught out first, basically. So this is kind of that generic solo queue game of don't get caught out, and then one of your teammates gets caught out, and it's like, okay, we lose the game now.
Yeah, we've all been there before. But right now, I'd like to see what these teams make plays to get vision control and to keep looking for picks, even if it is a scary proposition. Right now, we've got the Kai'Sa and the Leona just matching a Lux and Morgana on the top side. Morgana does have the teleport, whereas the split-pushing Mundo has it.
Yeah, Synergetic looking for a bit of a risky trade. Fel getting some damage back, gets ignited, gets 5 bleed stacks on him, but Synergetic, no flash, no ignite now. Fel is getting really healthy. No minion wave, getting hit by a cleaver. Fel is going to possibly run him down here. Lands the second cleaver and just looking to smack away at this Darius. Fel just stat checks Synergetic, and now this is a Mundo side lane.
Yeah, as soon as the ignite wears off and your stacks drop off and you are low, and that Mundo's ultimate is still ticking, you need to get the heck, because you are unlikely to be winning that with the amount of regen being offered by the Mundo ultimate.
Yeah, and I mean, Fel at this point is going to be a very big problem because he's winning in the side lane with the ignite advantage on Synergetic factored in as well.
Yeah, and he didn't even have to use his flash either. He still has both of his summoners available, and Synergetic in 2 attempted all-ins used both of them and didn't have anything to show for it.
And now 40 seconds away is an Infernal Dragon, so it's going to be interesting if they put Fel up in the top side and then have him TP down, or just put him back and just group him up with the team right now. It looks like that might be what they're opting to do. But right now is a kind of make or break moment for both of these teams as this Infernal's coming up. If they get a double Infernal on the side of connection issues, it's going to be much harder for Sinzari's rejects to get through this game. But if Sinzari can win and take this Infernal Dragon, this might be what they need to turn that extra damage over the edge and start just running through this team with the amount of damage they have.
Yeah. Caitlyn and the Lux not in a great position to respond to this fight. They need to get in with their team, and here we go. Let's see how this initiation is going to work out. The Darius trying to absorb those cleavers, but every single time he eats one, that's a big chunk of health gone out.
Yeah. Caitlyn now setting up a trap line as well, but Forever Lone Wolf getting some CC down, gets Scruffle stunned, but now just complete mayhem breaks out. Teams fighting on 2 sides. There's this complete brawl fest going out. It's like 5 1v1s going on at once. Blackuzar flashing out after getting the kill onto Imperially, and gets a double kill shutdown on Athreos, but Fel does pick up the kill onto Blaskuzar and makes it out without dying to that Darius, who has 5 bleed stacks. But overall, 2 for 3, or 2 for 1 in favor of Sinzari's rejects. They might be able to get a dragon off of that, especially with the jungler being down, but they have to be careful. The ADC is still alive. Shiro does have smite. Are they going to commit to the dragon? They are, and they will secure the dragon, but at what cost? They have to skip with their lives now. Synergetic getting extremely low. Sun not connecting onto Scruffles, and he's going to take out Shiro right now. He's getting extremely low. 5 bleed stacks. Synergetic might be able to make it happen, though. Doesn't have the ultimate, though, but will just smack people down left and right. 1, 2, 3! They turn around the fight and pick up the Infernal as well as 3 kills.
That was a game of inches. As soon as Darius managed to pick up that 5th stack, the amount of AD goes all in and closes out this team fight. Managing to pick up the Infernal and all the kills in this huge swing in this game.
Yeah, and that's the problem of picking Mundo or Sejuani into Darius, where if you put that front line in front of him, he's going to get those 5 bleed stacks. He doesn't have to auto the ADC 5 times. He can just auto them once and just smack their health bar this time. So you have to be cautious of letting him just hit your tanks for free. And that's what happened there. Extremely well played by Synergetic. And now this game is back and forth, back and forth. I think that's literally what's happened this entire game, where they win one objective, but then they lose the next one.
Yeah, they have the vision line set up for that Baron, but unfortunately they're not in a position to respond to keeping that right now. Opting to go mid and staggering their recalls gives up all of the vision that they had around this Baron. So hopefully for their sake, they have a bunch of pinks in their inventory ready to go so they can try to get some vision back. Oh, Nami has to be careful here.
Yeah, Nami is a bit immobile, and especially against the binding as well as the Leona with her solar flare. You have to be extremely careful. And again, I think this Nami has missed 3 wards in a bush. That pink ward missing the bush as well. A bit unfortunate, but it happens every once in a while.
Yeah, when you have a lot of pressure on the other side, unforced mistakes can happen. You have to keep calm and ward on.
Yeah. With that, you feel proud of yourself?
No, not at all, but...
A lot of CC landing onto Forever Lone Wolf, but not enough damage as Shiro going with the flank gets the stun onto Brevity. Now kills dropping left and right as Blaskuzar is just running through these health bars with that Kaisa damage. Gets the kill onto Brevity. Now looking to make it a double kill, maybe make it a triple kill. Actually Synergetic picking up that ultimate, getting the Noxian Guillotine popping off. Gets those 5 bleed stacks. They have to be careful though, taking this tower damage. Fel is getting extremely beefy here and doesn't drop yet. What is this? They just threw that fight extremely hard. Fel gonna get taken out though. They're throwing it back. It's like ping pong. Synergetic getting the double kill at the end, but the tower gonna pick off the kill onto Maj. Means that it is last man standing. This sold Darius here, as that was a bloodbath of a fight.
I'm going to give the MVP to that fight to that tower in the mid lane. I'm pretty sure that tower soloed Blasquezar, did most of the damage to Madge, Forever Lone Wolf, and a chunk of damage on the Synergetic. That was an impressive display by that tower in the mid lane. The drawn-out fight going back and forth finally closed out by Synergetic after he got the reset again. Oh, wow. Unfortunately, not a whole lot to show for it. Really good flank by Shiro, and they can't even get anything more than a single tower off of it. I feel like they might be kicking themselves for that one.
Yeah. These fights have been very messy, and they really do need to be careful with Fell on this Dr. Mundo being left unchecked. Because we saw that last fight. He was left very low 3 times, even 4 maybe, and he just regen right up. And so if he's not taken out in unison with the Darius and the Kaisa, I can see him just running through these fights and just whacking people down. I mean, he killed Blasquezar in the fight around the dragon. That was the only reason it was even close at all, because that Dr. Mundo is just putting in so much work right now. So you really have to keep an eye on these top laners in these team fights.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these team fights are boiling down to, I don't think Forever Lone Wolf or Madge really appeal for Blasquezar, or at least they haven't been so far in these team fights. I think Blasquezar has basically been left to his own devices on this Kaisa.
Yeah, Fell doesn't have TP right now. I don't know if they're timing it, but he's walking up. They don't have Fell here yet, though. Doesn't have TP. They might look for something. Shiro going to pop the Predator here. They might look for another tower dive. We saw it didn't work out too well in the mid lane, but maybe in the top lane they'll try their chances. They do get Brevity. Now looking like they're going to be able to destroy Scruffles too, making it a triple kill as Athreos also drops. Now it's up to Fell and Amperly to defend this Baron.
Well, at least Lux has the long-range ultimate throw out, so it's not the end of the world. It'll be risky, and I don't think they're even going to try here. It looks like they're just going to back off.
Maybe she'll go for an ult steal. She might look for it. There's always a chance.
There's
5%.
always a chance. And it's gone. Too late. No vision.
0%.
Yeah, the vision wasn't there to give them the opportunity to go for that steal. So, really aggressive play, but it pays off, and they get the Baron off of it. And that'll help a lot in the next fight.
Yeah. But with that, we're seeing a lot better rotations coming out by Sinzari. And it's not that they're assigning lanes properly. They're just brute forcing their way through this game. They're just walking as a 5-man unit, and they're saying, hey, we don't know what we're doing with positioning, really, or like with this lane assignment thingamajig you guys are talking about, but we can team fight, so we're just going to do that. And they're just team fighting like monsters, just running them down, grouping up as 5-man, and playing to their strengths, which you have to admire.
Yeah, and another positive thing, the last 2 team fights, they've started them without the Mundo being in an area spawn. The first fight, he had to teleport in a bit of off position, and with a nice flank. And in this play, he was in the mid lane. He was not available for that fight, so he couldn't do Mundo things of being a meat sack and taking the Kaisa out of the fight. So they basically just locked down the squishy targets, and they didn't have to worry about getting through this Mundo.
Yeah. Now, if we take note of also Shiro's inventory, he has the Zeke's Convergence, which is bound to the Kaisa right now. So yes, Leona doesn't have it, but it is on that Poppy. And even if Leona gets it later, it's not going to matter, as Fell is getting CC'd super hard. Poppy does drop that ultimate and actually knocks Scruffy out, so now the ADC isn't here, but they are under a tower yet again. They have a tendency to fight under towers. Is he going to bite them in the butt? And a giant bubble comes out! A huge Lux ult too! Athreos picks up the first kill onto Blasquezar. These Caitlyn traps are in a perfect position to catch them when they're running away, and that's going to be 3 kills going over 2 connection issues.
We are getting an instant replay. I think Blasquezar disconnected there again, but
yeah, it looks like that.
Lord.
Connection issues plaguing the side of Blasquezar. This has been happening this whole both games, and that's just unfortunate. I don't know if he DC'd that fight, but that really does suck.
He went down without using his ultimate, whether or not he was just
and his summoners.
Controlled.
So
yeah, he might have been just CC'd the entire time, but I think he was DC'd.
He has QSS too, and it's not on cooldown.
Right. That's pretty.
That does scream.
Internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to be fast with those pauses. It is it is the job of Sinzari's rejects to pause the game. You can't just fault connection issues for taking advantage of it. heck, we didn't even notice until the DC popped up. So they just saw the opportunity. Kaisa was out of position. They probably just CC chained her, killed her. It is unfortunate, but that is what happens if you don't pause the game fast enough. And so with that, that will nullify a lot of that Baron power pressure.
Yeah, that's the second game in a row since ours rejects throw a bit with their Baron play. Really aggressive, trying to get onto the Mundo and lock him down for naught. And the rest of their damage dealers just get massacred. And now they're going to lose a lot of gold and map control for it.
Yeah, and again, this is the exact same as last game, even possibly more back and forth, as this entire game has just been a back and forth slugfest.
Right, well, in last game, they had a 10,000 gold lead when the situation occurred. This time, it's only 7,000 or around those parts. So it's not like they were crawling back from an insurmountable hole. This time, they do have a fighting chance. Poor Lux gets left out.
Yeah, that was really scary too, because Shiro is really close by. If there had been a ward right there, that possibly could have been a dead Lux, or at least forcing out a flash.
Unfortunate. But nothing coming of it. No punishment for the disorganized blast cone play.
Yeah, that would have been really unfortunate had she died. And she might get caught out here, actually. Predator is popped, but a nice binding and the flash away will secure Emperor Lee's life. But that is still a flash for, you know, basically Predator usage.
Yeah, that's a pretty good use of the active there. I just wanted to throw it back that today TL versus... Oh shit, hang on.
Oh, Brevity getting extremely greedy with the positioning, uses a tidal wave, but narrowly gets missed by every single skill shot and lives.
Oh, that could have been a free pick and a lot of CC taken off the board.
Yeah, I think Forever should have just dropped this Solar Flare there for the pick, guarantee.
Right, it's not like it has a very long cooldown when you're at these levels and you have some CDR. And
yeah, it's less than a minute, so it's not horrible. And if you get a kill for it, I mean, it's definitely pretty worth it.
Yeah. It's really hard to siege against the Caitlyn. These traps doing an incredible job, especially with the Lux as well. She does a lot of damage in a big area. You're stuck. Hopefully, this is one of the downsides of not having a teleport on your top laner. He can't really just split off on the opposite side while you guys 4-man and just be able to get into these fights.
I like what they're doing. They're 1-3-1ing, but they're kind of just having Poppy make sure that the bot wave isn't shoving towards them. They're not really putting Poppy there to push. They're just making sure the wave is in an okay spot. And they're putting Synergetic in a lane that's not too far away, so he can just walk over to a fight, or they can just walk over to him if he needs it. So they're kind of making making the best of the lack of resources that they do have.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but the Baron is now expired, so they don't have the empowered minions anymore to help fuel the siege. So at least they're taking the opportunity to deny camp while they are this far pushed forward. But I'm not sure that they will be able to get a whole lot off of this situation that they're in. They do have a huge lead nonetheless. So it's not like when they lost that their three members, there was a huge comeback opportunity. They lost the tower, they lost the opportunity to close out the game, but not much came out of it.
Yeah. With that, just kind of stalling out right now. And we mentioned how with the Caitlyn Lux, it's a siege composition. It's also kind of a stall composition with wave clear. And Riot, you know, they've noticed this. They're saying we're going to change this, but this isn't changed yet. So minions are still really squishy. They're still not going to be able to shove in and get some chip on these towers, especially with that Caitlyn trap line set up.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons that Caitlyn has not been buffed, despite her relatively low win solo queue, because as soon as she becomes good, she starts pushing out other champions from the bot lane, and they still want to increase diversity in that bot lane. So buffing Caitlyn that's a non-starter. You can see what you can do to stall out games as well. You don't want Caitlyn in your games. We had Season 6 for that.
Yeah. Now, Blascos are opting into something a little more diverse in this bot lane, goes for a very heavy AP build. So we'll do a lot of magic damage. Interesting to note that he actually skipped out on the Stormrazor, which has been a pretty popular first item Kaisa pickup. Because of the synergy with her passive, that first auto kind of nuking them low, which means that her fourth auto will just have more missing health to work with and deal more damage. But that AP build doing a lot of magic or a lot of single target burst damage if she can land that W on somebody and get that passive proc.
That W is the one that could do like 2,400 damage, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
now
then
we have to be
well.
careful with this Elder Dragon just getting melted. Lux ult is going to come out, but Shiro is the one who's going to pick it up. Nice smite by this jungler.
Yeah, that was very clutch.
Yeah, and with that, they're just going to walk right over to the Baron. They're going to say, hey, we have an Elder Dragon. Fight us at Baron now. And because of connection issues not being well grouped for that first fight, they now have to decide, are we going to concede 2 major neutral objectives, or are we going to fight at the disadvantage of the Elder Drake? And they just don't want to have anything to do with it. They're going to try to clear these waves out as fast as possible and just hope to gosh that they can hold through with those double buffs on all these members of Sinzari's rejects.
Yeah, the siege giving them the opportunity to completely deny all the forward vision on the map, and it just denied a whole lot of opportunities for them to get back into this game. Instead, 2 neutral objectives taken off the board really quickly, and now they're in a really good position here. Try to close out this game. Hopefully, no repeat for the 3rd time.
Yeah. Oh, that binding was really close to Blasquezar, and you have to watch out. Any little thing, a Lux binding, a Nami bubble, or just stepping into a Caitlyn trap by accident could kill one of these squishy members instantly.
Yeah, especially with no sustain on this Kaisa. Doesn't really have the opportunity to regen anything. She does have the red buff ticking, but that's not the same as having lifesteal.
Yeah, now with this cannon minion, they are going to eventually get some chip through to this mid lane, as well as having these minions that are a lot harder for Lux to clear. Caitlyn's still doing a pretty effective job of clearing, but... Oh, binding does connect! Black Shield comes out, protecting any further damage, but the Poppy just going to drop the ulti to zone them off. That's really important, though, because that's not only Poppy ult on cooldown, that's also the Zeke's Convergence on cooldown, so this Kaisa now has less damage than she would in a teamfight optimal situation. However, with the bot lane mismanagement of a wave, oh, Shiro going really deep in there, Emperorly getting extremely low, actually going to not take out to the Ignite, just living with a tiny sliver of health. They do, however, get the mid inhibitor tower down. Darius almost has top inhibitor tower down, but there's a giant wave in the bot lane that's pushing towards the sides of Sinzari's rejects.
Yeah, that wave is going to have to be responded to at some point, but the Sejuani ult is now down as well, with not a whole lot to show for it. Now they got the 2nd tower down.
Yeah, they do need to start cracking these inhibitors, though, or else they're going to be pretty sad. The Righteous Glory coming out from the Darius. He is deep in there. The ultimate from Fel actually dropped extremely early. No damage taken yet. A bit of a waste of a Mundo ult, actually. And they're just going to slap that inhibitor down. Mundo not having any ulti anymore. Still really tanky, though. Now Sejuani getting really deep in there. Darius going for some very, very aggressive plays. Does not get the kill onto the Caitlyn, but actually does with the passive and the Ignite. Going to secure the kill. Just complete teamfight mayhem breaking out. But it looks great for Sinzari's rejects as they pick up a complete ace and a quadra kill for Blasquezar. And they're going to pick up the win twice in a row and take down connection issues.
Yeah, that fight looked really sloppy with Darius diving in really deep, but bad use of skills and unfortunately just too far behind. Kaisa doing a ton of damage and being able to follow up on the mayhem that the Darius caused. They managed to pull it off with this Baron, and no mistakes this time.
Yeah. And so Sinzari making, the 2nd game really close, but still making the win come out in the end. And that was definitely very exciting 2 games to watch through.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But with that, congratulations to Sinzari's rejects as they are the winners of tonight with 2-0 victory. Nice job, guys. But with that, we're going to wrap it up over here at Learning Fives. If you enjoyed everything and you want to join part of the community, you can go to the description of the stream, and you can join the League of Legends Discord. You follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. You can also join the Heroes of the Storm Discord if you're into that kind of game. So we have that for some variety. Yeah. But I'm Lalmian Cat. He's Belkarama. You can follow us over on Twitter or just hit us up in the Learning Fives Discord. I hope you've enjoyed the stream, guys. Have a wonderful night.
Have a good night, boys.
for me. There is a beautiful electricity.